कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Yeah, it's about time we discuss the future. This week, the future is looking a little bleak. I know Ukraine is still going on, that war is not ending and people are dying, there's suffering all around. We had floods in Karachi, we've got all kinds of issues of inequality and disparity in our country, and all over the world there's left versus right, there's woke against anti-woke. But we have a little problem that no one's talking about because they feel ashamed to. I'm not ashamed, I will talk about it. We've already got the VIP movement culture driving us nuts in our part of South Mumbai, okay? And now we've got Ganpati. And Ganpati is a great festival. Let me just put that rider out there because I live in India. No problem. But it's been hijacked by rich people who spend too much money on it. And what happens is the jams will be even more. But here's a thought. What happens when 1 + 1 makes 2? Or in this case, 69.5. Which is very clearly what's going to happen here because we have VIP movement plus, and this happened today, plus we have Visarjan. This also happened today. When they come together, these two forces, they're insurmountable and it's death to civil society and there's nothing much we can do. So I'm going to hide for 10.5 days. I should hide for the remaining part of the year as well because the VIP movement is not going to stop. And I'm going to fast unto death until all VIPs are eradicated. I won't say anything about religion. I'll just stop there. All VIPs are eradicated from this country. I hereby fast unto death. On that happy note, let's start the show. Who's in? I'll pretend I don't know. You're all smiling because I'm fasting unto death. I don't think that's the right sentiment. It's solidarity.
You will start fasting unto death now. So for at least an hour, you'll be fine. After that, I don't give a shit. So it's like
Meghnad, A, you don't know anything about camels. And B, the very fact that you didn't say, I will also fast unto death. I thought I'd get a bit of that. You're right. Where's that feeling that Inqilab Zindabad moment should have happened? You two or three of you all are saying nothing. Kajol?
The last guy who fasted unto death, his sidekick started a party and he got sidelined. So I think, we learned our lesson from there.
Apparently, he eats Chinese today. I mean, he's really doing well. Of course, ordering might be a little difficult because he doesn't have any, is that a mean thing to say, teeth? But, it happens to all of us.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
Yeah. I was always thinking, how do you order if you don't use the online model, but you use the old-fashioned model and you have a problem with, well, if you don't have teeth, have you heard people without teeth talk? It's very difficult. It's a horrible, it's like just pants flapping. It's very hard. We should have somebody like that on the show. Imagine we had 3 panelists who are exactly like that. Kajol, it'll be a dream. You and 3... That's all. That's all you hear.
My dream is to have you on mute. Okay, if I just
if you just stopped after on, it could have been so perverse. You just said to have you on, and then it went off the Wi-Fi, and I'd have won many hearts. Man, no, on mute.
Just
not the first one to say that,
Kajol.
No, not the first one to say that.
It proved my point. Yes.
Yeah.
But Cyrus, I want to bring this up. We were discussing this earlier. And then I saw you and Puneet Pania on the same podcast. The energy was so calm. It was so... I guess I was jealous, Cyrus. I was totally jealous of Puneet Pania, not something I've ever thought I would say in public.
Puneet and Abbas have the same energy. Kajol, just understand one thing. You and me are a little hyper, okay? So we have that energy. So that happens on this show. It becomes louder immediately. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying the way it is.
So you are blaming her for this.
I'm just suggesting
that personality-wise,
she's akin to me. Abbas and Puneet have their own style, which lowers the tempo in their own way. Sometimes that jugalbandi of high and low together works even better. Sometimes maybe not. I don't know. I'm just saying. Second point being, you're female, and I get excited when I see a woman. So I'm always like more in. And I'll tell you why. The first Rishi I worked with, his name is Raphael. He grew up with Tiger Memon, by the way, in Mahim in the same block and knew all about him, etc. That's another story. But Raphael used to tell me that we did a show in '93 called the Polo Dial-In Show, where people would call in and you talk to them. Select was based on that, apparently. And so when the boys or men called up, I would be like, Abbas, just call up and say hi or whatever.
Hey, Cyrus, hi.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to request Don't Break My Heart by Boys to Men.
Okay, whatever, man. Chalo.
Cyrus, I worked really hard to connect the line. Please show some enthusiasm.
Okay, now as a segue here, let me tell you the other problem we used to have. Indians were new to the whole format, right? So our guys would spend the whole time saying hello. And let me explain exactly how it went. I'm not lying. Hello? Yeah, hi, welcome to Polo Dial-In Show, full of energy. Hello? Yeah, hello. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And the whole time it was the same lack of personality, lack of self-esteem, lack of belief. I was so, by the end I'd lost my energy and I was just dead, It just killed me, drained me completely.
So you are saying that Puneet Panya and Abbas are like that? Hello?
No, I'm saying that she's talking about the energy being a little more controlled. I think that she's saying that there's more control and we are controlled. So I'm saying there's a reason for that also, which is to do with the fact that, the dynamics of the personalities, genders. I definitely like women on the show. It makes me happy. I wake up. Like, remember when you were in class and pretty girls came or girls came, generally.
I have to mention, in that podcast I saw, it was you, Puneet Panya, Abbas and Nivedita. And you were not interrupting her. There you go.
Because I think Cyrus was disinterested in
Abbas
that.
and Puneet are the same tribe. They're all low-key. They're all low-key octave sort of performers. Remember that? So I didn't look like an idiot. Do you understand? Because I'm jumping up and down. Everybody else is here. I just look like a fool. The overexcited guy at the birthday party. I want cake. I'm that guy. So it doesn't work there. So I have to come down to that level. I'll give you another example. Ajay Devgan interview. Lovely guy. But when you talk to him, and this, it blew my mind because I didn't speak to him before we started shooting the first time. And the first time, I, as usual, full of energy like Polo Dial-In. Hey, guys, welcome, MTV, blah, 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 blah. Full on Kante, action star, yeah, whoa, Falan Dikna. Ajay Devgan, Ajay, tell us about the film. Yeah, it's a movie about, there's...
Bolo Zuba Kesari. And then Cyrus was like, no.
Abbas, I kid you not. I went like, pardon. Actually, I went like that. What you do with an elderly person.
But Ajay Devgan's wife is hyper, no? Kajol is quite like...
there you go. That's why they work.
I'm very calm about... Cyrus. Normally, I'm very calm. I don't know...
But you're what? How do we say this without sounding wrong? You're not loud, because loud makes a woman sound unclassy. It's not like that. You're just, you're powerful.
No, go ahead, Cyrus. Go ahead. Like the nuns in my school call me a fisherwoman. That's what
I've said only nice things. This is not right. All right, please
find me like the nuns in my school.
Someone who genuinely likes you like me should not be bullied.
In convent schools, when they wanted girls to behave themselves, they should always be like, don't be fisherwomen. And
that doesn't even sound like an insult. I mean, machi wali bola to fir that's an insult.
Yeah, Halu, that's a whole community. How dare you? That's so unwoke.
Yeah.
How dare you guys talk like that?
Okay, just give me 1 second.
I come from fisherman's stock, apparently.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm just putting it out there. Don't fight, yeah. Leave it. Anyway, so where were we? Sorry. So Rasul.
No, I'm right here. I'm not frozen. I'm paying attention.
Okay.
Yes,
Rasul,
I am the host today. Sairud, Aniket says Sairud was walking alone at one moment yesterday. What?
Talking alone.
I'm
talking alone at one moment.
She walked out. I said I'm sorry, woman.
I think Kajol has had enough of this shit. So she was like...
she's gone to Puneet's podcast. She's more comfortable there. She walked off.
No, I did. I'm so sorry. There's Ganpati going on my building and someone I put off the bell, so someone is knocking on my door. So I just had to. It was sorry. Very sorry.
Prasad ke liye? Prasad
did they give you the
donation?
No. So they tell us when the aarti is happening and all. I just had to go to the door. I'm so sorry.
But they go from door to door to announce when the aarti is happening.
Yeah.
That's very
weird.
You
live in a very staunchly
when you don't have a hobby,
conservative society, because they hand out flags and they tell you when the aarti is.
Okay, so I'll tell you something which happened during lockdown, but the possibility is that the episode might get panned on Twitter. Huh? Shall I go ahead anyway?
Nobody will listen to this. Actually, I don't know. Yes, go ahead.
Leave it. It's a sensitive topic.
Oh, but Cyrus, I have to tell you this. Kajol has been regularly getting panned on Twitter recently. Huh? She's become a controversial figure now. I've been following her.
She always
to do with us on her own. She's doing this all on her own. It's not to do with
on my own.
Yeah, on her own. She says things about certain animals and like certain things, and then
by the way, I got one hate tweet. I got one hate tweet because of Cyrus says. Apparently last week when I was on, I mentioned that KGF 2 is a Tamil film, and somebody replied to it saying, "You idiot, KGF
Kannada, I corrected you.
Is a Kannada film," and then he signed off by saying, "You should stop appearing on podcasts." So I did the most rational thing. I blocked that follower.
No, don't block. I'll tell you, this is a bit of our fault. It happens in our TV show also with idiots like Kunal, who will not try and separate accents. Okay, when you're looking at South India, all the different accents. Firstly, there's not even just 4 or 5 accents. Each region has a different accent if you're good at that. But he's gone and, mix them all up together. And people just take offense because clearly become more Malayali. And, Malayali is one area and Tamilian is another area. And you don't mix that up, It's just totally different. So
no, I totally agree. My bad. But why should I stop appearing on podcasts?
I forgive you.
Please correct your mistake and don't make it next time.
Hey, I get hate from Cyrus's fans all the time. Okay, I get hate. They DM'd me on Instagram and told me to get a life and get off the podcast.
Yeah, man. Kajol has it bad.
When I told him to do that, I was just joking, guys.
Oh yeah, Cyrus, sounds very familiar that your followers do all the bad things and you take none of the responsibilities, huh?
No, don't forget, I spent 11 years doing a show called Bakra. Okay, I'm the king of PR after that because once it's over, we have to apologize. And you realize because you really feel bad sometimes.
Yeah.
And all you do is apologize, whether they're angry or they've understood or whatever. So it teaches you a lot, you just, and you remain. The great thing is about males now, if someone, after an apology, somebody doesn't accept it, you get bucked again and you want to fight and all that. It just goes out of control fast. But here we learned that you just keep saying sorry. And then, of course, for marriage, it prepared me properly also. So it just went on the same way. Head down, sorry. Sorry ka matlab hai sorry. You just keep saying sorry.
That is such a WhatsApp joke in the making, Cyrus.
Thank you, man. I'm catching up with technology. Aaj to WhatsApp, tomorrow email.
Aditya SK says he was offended by Abbas and not Silvery. Exactly. Apparently, when you tell where the things happened, people forgive you.
This is a joke on intelligence. So what he's trying to say is that in Silvery's case, we don't expect him to actually know. They're still trying to figure out Liverpool in Punjab or whatever that goes on when he starts. Abbas should
appear more on the podcast. I agree. And before this, Grim Fandango saying Abbas is a Karnatakan for sure. I am. I spent 5 years in Bangalore and I love the city.
Yeah.
So
but you would know that the word Karnatakan is not to be used. But hey, it's too late for that.
I mean, tomato. It's okay.
And Kajol was afraid to tell us her politically incorrect story.
Because people came. Okay, my mom is a social worker and she's very outspoken. Okay, I'm actually.
You're anti-social. She's social.
So during the lockdown, they had come asking for donation to build the Ram temple. Okay, 7 guys from my society. And
the Ram temple in Borivali or the one in UP?
In Ayodhya.
Okay. No, could be apartments in Versova. I don't know, man. In India.
I mean, welcome to apartment A, apartment B. Ram Mandir.
I don't know whether I should continue this story because it's
why make a big deal out of it? So they asked for a donation. You said no. I always ask what is the tax implications.
No. See, they came. They had a little idol with them. They all bowed. I had opened the door and they gave me a pamphlet about the donation. I was very willing to take the pamphlet and shut the door. But my mother arrived and she's like...
She gave them a lecture.
No, she's like, बहुत अच्छा. हम भी राम के भक्त हैं. And they all did like this. And she's like, हम अल्लाह के भी भक्त हैं.
And bowed a little too soon.
That's okay. So she's secular. She has a secular feel.
She's totally secular. So she's
what is wrong? Why are you ashamed?
She's like, y'all build mandir, but y'all can't demolish masjids either. She said, I've been a social worker all my life and I am 76.
They were not prepared for this. Those 4 guys youth members of the ऐसा जवाब कभी मिला नहीं life में. Either it's a yes or a no. But nobody had a philosophical debate on how you cannot break and build at the same time. It's a paradox.
So they were frozen there in that posture. And she's like, I'm 76. I will say what I want to say and I'm not scared of anyone. One of them called for the lift, and for the first time I saw 7 guys trying to stuff themselves into a 4-person lift. Okay, it was.
This is coming back to Hindu philosophy. This is the power of Shakti. You have to understand. Ultimately, you have to bow to the power of Shakti. But again, I don't think you should be worried about this story because she's actually just talking about tolerance. It's not really taking one side or the other.
So. Last week, I was called a buffalo by 1,000 people on Twitter.
A very beautiful animal.
It's a very beautiful. I have no problem.
It really
with
is.
That. And in India, buffaloes are respected way more than women. So that's cool.
Brother, they're very powerful. They're very aggressive and macho if you want to look at it from that point of view. I mean, and they're very family oriented. That's not you, Kajol. You're a woman and beautiful woman. And I should have thought it through.
I like swimming.
Like the guys who do the donation, I want to find the lift.
No, but my point is, these days you can't say anything because somebody's sentiments get offended, and then they start tagging the police. Okay, and that is always.
Oh, dude, itna irritating, Like, so this one time, so I said some random tweet kiya tha maine, matlab kisi religion ko ya kuch leke bhi nahi tha, and someone started tagging the Kolkata police. Okay, and I was like, Kolkata police क्यों? I mean, I was very curious, so I asked that person like कि Kolkata police को क्यों tag किया? So he's like, you're Bengali, no? So you're in Calcutta. I'm like, how does that? I'm not Bengali. B, I'm not in Calcutta. It's clearly written on my Twitter that I'm in Delhi. Like, they don't even check your location while tagging the police. At least तुमको like तुम अगर मीरठ के police को tag करोगे या whatever तो थोड़ा close.
What would have been fun is if somewhere in Alipur there's a Meghnad Bhattacharya who they pick up. They somehow pick this guy up who's actually a right wing. I mean, he's absolutely on the other side. मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. I mean, that would have been such a beautiful comedy of errors. Damn it.
Did the police handle reply?
No, they tagged Mumbai and UP for Meghnad.
Okay.
No, I mean, you go on. Yeah, they did respond. No?
For Meghnad is
for me
Interpol
also
notice.
didn't respond. But well, it's still fresh, so I don't know.
Okay.
Recently, sorry, I wanted to tell you that recently the election commission officer responded to me on Twitter, and they did a whole story on this also. So I was getting calls, like I got one call actually from an officer कि तुम्हारा आधार और election card link कर दो. And I was like, what is this? Like, under what law are you saying this? Again, I don't think they expect such questions from people. So he was like, nahi sir, ऊपर से order आया है, तो करना पड़ेगा. I didn't want to argue with him. So I'm like, हाँ, कैसे करते हैं? So he directed me to a website, एक form दिखा दिया. He's like, sir, भर देना. And this is like, आपके spouse को भी बोल देना कि वो भी form भर दे, link करने के लिए. So I cut the call and I tweeted about it, that this is happening, right? I didn't even make a statement कि ये होना नहीं चाहिए, होना चाहिए.
Twitter is a complaint bowl. हाँ, मेरे को टिकट नहीं मिला.
It is. Yeah.
It really is.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
But it was not a complaint. It was a statement of fact that this is what happened. And yeah, okay, so this is happening now. That was my tweet, okay? So it went viral, and then the Delhi CEO of Delhi basically responded to me. But since I don't follow them, I didn't get it. Then they DM'd me. So I gave them my number. Then they called me and said, sorry, sir, ऐसा तो कोई law है नहीं. We will retrain our officers to not tell people to link this. So I was like, oh, so
this is the Twitter version of calling for the lift.
Yeah, but most responses when things go viral from Twitter have been very positive. But everybody worried about the PR. It doesn't mean the end result is going to be great. It's just that temporarily, it's like when you're batting against fast bowling, you just keep the ball out for a little while. That's what they've done. And then it continues. It will continue to spiral. So be careful, Meghnad. You're on their list. You're on the radar. It's a matter of time before the Hooghly police pick you up and drop in the Howrah. Damn.
Hey, remember
Arpit
the time?
Bansal, 1 second, Kajol. Arpit Bansal has commented important question in the tweet. Did Meghnad mention partner or spouse while describing the situation?
Answer the question, sir.
I think I didn't talk about that on my Twitter. I think I don't know. But
Are you actually answering the question?
Yeah, I did. I answered the question. It was a
He's being a smart Alex. Pay attention. Show respect to these guys. They work so hard to make us feel bad from time to time.
Sorry, Kajol.
But I also started thinking whether I use spouse or partner, because right now I said spouse. And you didn't notice.
And we didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
Well done, beta. Well done. Right now, Saurabh also, both of them have correctly. Look at these guys are so sharp.
Yeah.
On the panel, we look like fools. Never have these guys on our panel. They'll expose us from the first minute. My God.
Yeah, I get criticized for calling a Kannada film Tamil and being told never to come on a podcast.
But that's because that's your expertise. If I make a cricket mistake, or Meghnad makes a mistake when covering the state of affairs in the country,
fair enough,
like foreign exchange rates,
yeah.
And then you got to cop it. Then you got to cop it because that is your expertise. So then in a sense, your ego is involved in that because you know you're good at that. So I totally accept that.
We've gone 20 minutes without a topic. I'm gonna ask Kajol to, for the third time, to try and tell us something that she was saying. Remember the time?
No,
I want to ask Hamisha, this picture of Hamisha is what? Like, what is she doing when the picture is being taken?
Wow, Hamisha is also not scolding. It's like topic chalu karna bas.
Chiding. It's making fun. They always
so before we start the topic,
they raised the font for me to see. Excellent.
In the process, completely hiding Meghnad's face. But do like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Please share this episode if you like it. And with that,
I'll try.
we will come to the first topic. So, Cyrus, there's a LinkedIn
Why isn't Kajol that was the whole point. Our prelude was all about that. She's not the anchor.
I have resigned. I've resigned.
You resigned?
Cyrus? No.
Yes.
No, last time
she's a full-time panelist now.
No.
Give me one more chance.
Panelist. No, sir.
Oh, this is like my first girlfriend. Give me one more chance. Give me one more chance. Give us all one more chance. That's not fair. Because like I was saying,
in all fairness, Kajol, I really like the mnemonics and the facts you brought to this podcast.
I know. Even I like
when Kajol is hosting, it's always like
the love thingy and all.
Emotion Day and Paraplegic Sexual Day or some shit like that. I look forward to it. I'm like, what is it going to be this week?
It's a different spin on everything. What the hell, yeah?
So then one more time, Cyrus, but not with Sriram. Cyrus and Sriram can't be together in the same podcast. Sriram needs to move into the Panya zone.
I'm saying Cyrus and Sriram can't be together. What are you saying?
Fresh Pink Magnolia says Kajol is the best panelist on Cyrus says. She's always interesting and unapologetic. As a woman, I am a big fan of hers. This is what Fresh Pink Magnolia says. She's a role model.
Fresh Pink.
Right. And she may have been a man up to a point.
Might be, but I don't think any man will choose the username Fresh Pink Magnolia. That's
now this is flirting. She was a man. Kajol, your eyes are very pretty today.
Women tell women
I use this line on women all the time and I can't see their eyes.
Which line?
Why can't you see their eyes?
Your eyes look
Where are you
pretty.
looking? No, but where are you looking?
I do it with elderly ladies. In the MILF category, I go with this line. Of course, now I'm above the MILF category, so they're younger than me, so that's a different story. But the MILF comes, their child says, Beta, they call...
She's a woman from Munich, is what she says.
Hi, Munich. Sprechen wir Deutsch? I hope that was good enough.
And now she'll reply in German.
Yeah. It's just one word, jawohl.
Yeah.
Really, don't expect a print here.
Okay,
why would she give him
topic?
A LinkedIn post went viral
moment, she just got...
we'll come back to her moment. I have to do at least two topics before we go to the first break.
Wait, more interesting. Kajol's eyes are far more interesting.
Cyrus, very fun topic, Cyrus.
What color are your eyes? Last.
My eyes are dark brown, but I wear green lenses.
Green? Oh, you wear green
lenses? Fuck, I did not know this. I've known.
Oh, I thought you had
for
colored
like 3
eyes.
4 years now.
No. So my number is -8. My number is -8. Shut up. I need to wear lenses anyway, Baba. I can't see. So my eyes are
I'm just saying what Abbas is thinking.
Someone pointed out that Kajol is the only panelist who gets away by saying shut up to Cyrus. No other panelist. Cyrus doesn't forgive any other panelist.
How mean? Meghnad, am I a fascist guy?
Yes.
The only good thing I take to my grave is that I've been egalitarian with everyone wherever I go and work with. It's all informal and people say what they want and it's all good.
There is a difference between a classical fascist and you. You are also like a fascist.
No,
because when they talk, when they're on stage and they talk, nobody interrupts them, right? But
for fear of death,
interrupt people by talking more. So essentially, you're also.
I'm a reverse fascist. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you're a reverse
fascist. Yeah. The dusra.
Yeah.
Got it.
Also, sometimes they say things like "Kya takleef hai in sajjan ko?" So then.
It's a
safed shirt. Anyway.
Safed shirt they can't, because if it's a Congress rally, for example, who do you throw out? Come on.
But they wear black now. Yeah.
Speaking of safed shirt,
why? Because Ghulam Nabi Azad left.
No. I went to see Top Gun over the weekend. Okay.
Same.
You also in INOX?
Yeah. Separately, Kajol.
But in Delhi.
Kajol,
totally separate.
Making a romance. He's in Delhi in INOX. You're in Mumbai in INOX. Separate time, separate day, separate partner. Huh?
Yeah.
So firstly, I love the movie. Okay, it's really nice. Yes. But Tom Cruise is repairing his aircraft wearing a white shirt. How do you do that?
Mechanics can own white shirts, Kajol.
But who's going to wash it?
Well, maybe he's a fan of Jitendra.
Somebody's going to wash that shirt. How can you do mechanic work with a white shirt?
Really?
Maybe
critical are you, honestly. The guy spent $80 million on that plane, and all you get out of it is the white shirt. Really? That's just like a woman. Typical.
It might be an armed forces thing that the mechanics in the armed forces have to wear that uniform.
No, I doubt it.
He's scarred by India. Leave him alone. He's always going to come back to military issues.
He plays a military man in the movie. So, yeah.
Well, he's he's like Salman. He just plays Tom Cruise. Let's be honest. Now it's been going
That's
on now
true.
for some
But
time.
it works for
That's
him.
true.
Yeah.
It's fine. I also watch the movies. He's 73 years old, but you know what the hell, we buy it.
You know, he's 64, I think.
Tom
Our
Cruise
politicians
64?
in flooded areas. Yeah.
59. He's 59.
Or is he 60, I think? 61.
He looks
59,
as
59.
young as he did in the first movie, okay?
Yeah,
He's done a really good job, whatever he's done.
Yeah. They made him look very young. That much is clear. And they have
Why,
done
Meghnad?
a scene by
Dude,
scene.
it's like jealousy क्यों है? तू जल गया. I don't like it, yaar. Why from the childhood you hate this kind of good-looking guy, who walks into the room and all the women look at him and all. You're waiting 40 years to make this comment.
Cyrus,
Unbelievable.
can I give you a perfect troll line for such situations for future use? You should go Bernal laga le.
Oh God,
Always.
yeah.
Never say jal gaya is so passe. It's like now Bernal laga le.
Bernal.
Step 2. Yeah.
He's telling
Bernal.
someone who's his dad and I studied together. Now he's calling me passe. We understand.
Hey, but Inox has a new contest, okay? They finally realized how expensive their popcorn is. If you buy a big tub of popcorn and 2 drinks, you get a free trip to Europe.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, just
Is
don't
it
know.
a lucky
It's a
draw?
raffle, right?
Huh? It's a raffle, yeah, but come on. I mean, just think about it.
I don't
They
mind
might
not-
not send anyone, no?
Because they know if you can buy their popcorn, you can spend in euros. So
That's
they're like,
also
okay, then go. There you go.
I have a bigger problem with places like Inox. It's that security check that they do, where they manhandle you. I always ask them the same question, sir. Kitna bomb mila abhi tak, I mean, he's been doing it for... Give me a list of, what have you really got? And unfortunately, not once have I got a good answer. Like 36 bomb, 5 machine gun, 3
Varun
atangwadi.
Grover has a bit on this, right? When when they were checking his bag, Varun Grover said, "Ke dheere dabao, thoda phat jayega." So...
It's really tempting. I know my wife was like, why do you make fun and all that? But, it's an irritating thing. Both of us, they know, this is a waste of time, all this tokenism stuff.
Yeah,
that
that's
we do.
true. Yeah.
The Labrador outside the
Cyrus?
5-star hotel, smelling the car, then you pat him, he wants to jump in. I mean, what are we doing here? It's just a joke. Yeah, really. Sorry. What are you saying, Meghnad?
No, I got a WhatsApp forward which you would enjoy. Can I read it out for you?
Yes, please. Give me a kiss.
Yeah.
Not you, my dog.
Okay. It says one simple suggestion, right? Instead of giving roads names of leaders and celebrities, if we give names of contractors who build it with their address and
What
phone number,
great
I think quality of roads will improve.
Give me his name for Padma Vibhushan. I am putting it up right now. I am not going lower than Vibhushan. I will put this out in the national headlines tomorrow. This is a great human being. He's absolutely right. What's
WhatsApp
happening?
forward था किसी ने तो भी ये सोचा है पता नहीं किसने सोचा है but सोचा
Today,
है किसी ने.
WhatsApp forward is like anonymous was in the old days. For fear of reprisal, it's best to send the forward directly.
इसको क्या reprisal मिलेगा? What reprisal will you get for something like this?
But he's obviously from our tribe, so there's a critical eye here. So critical eye can be on civic issues, then it becomes social issues, which are more than just civic issues, and then it goes on political issues, which include religious, economic issues, and then it becomes disaster. Like in the case of Kajol's mom, who very sweetly tried to educate some people on peace and love, but of course these concepts are not always. Every 200 years they are avoided, I think, in countries around the world. So
Yeah, but no, Kajol, I was thinking.
it's amazing that you apologize for trying to bring harmony. Nobody gets that. Very often you're just trying to say the things to bring people together and achieve peace, mercy, compassion, happiness.
These days,
And
if you talk
instead,
about peace,
you're worried.
if these I'm technically Hindu, okay? So these days, if I say something
What does
about
that mean in this day and age?
it means I was born a Hindu, okay? I'm not a religious person. But if I say something on Twitter, there are a bunch of people calling me an Islamist, telling me to go back to my madrasa, or they're calling me a rice bag. And they think it hurts me.
A rice bag.
A rice bag
is a
It's a casteist insult.
Yeah, it's a casteist insult. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
what does it mean?
Essentially, there is this one story which is doing the rounds in the circles, or WhatsApp circles, that in the olden days, Christian missionaries used to come to poor Indians and give them rice in exchange for converting their religion.
Oh.
So basically, now it's become an insult where people like Kajol, poor thing, are called rice bags because
because I speak English. Because I speak English.
Kajal, but what if for converting to either Islam or Hinduism, I want the forbidden meat? That's my deal. Would I be given that? I'll be like, I'll take this religion. Give me the
if you go to
forbidden meat.
certain states,
Let's not name them. Let's not name them. Let's not get into that. Let's just
if you
ask
go
me.
to certain states, you don't even need to convert your religion. You'll get it whatever religion you are.
Oh, speaking of forbidden meat, Abbas, I shared that topic on the list also.
What?
So there is a video. There is a video from Uttar Pradesh, right? Prayagraj se.
It's always from Uttar Pradesh.
Where these 7-8 men are sitting on a boat and they're chilling. They're having a hookah and
the boat is on land.
Tandoori chicken. Yeah, on a boat. And there's the roasting tandoori chicken. Must enjoy kar rahe hai. Like he does like a pan shot and like everybody's like, hey, very nice. And so someone filed a complaint against them. A reporter has asked, like there's a video of this reporter asking a police, ये देखिए कैसा शर्मनाक वीडियो आया है, चिकन और हुक्का टाइप चीज कुछ कर रहे हैं, तो इस पे कोई कार्रवाई करेंगे क्या? तो पुलिस इज लाइक, yeah, we are working to identify these guys. I'm like, wait, what is happening? What crime is it to like sit on a boat?
But you listen, one man's meat is another man's poison. Come on, guys.
It's chicken.
No.
But a picture you like, somebody just finds distasteful. My wife used to show me pictures of these babies and things. I couldn't sleep at night. I found them horrible to look at. I've always found babies' heads are too large, human babies.
Okay.
She would show me these pictures and think how sweet, how
This
cute. We
has
should have
taken
had
a
one
weird
more.
turn.
I'm just saying.
Unexpected turn.
I'm just saying that I know. I'm just saying that, you see it in one way. One man's meat, another man's poison. You see it in one way. I see it in one way. It's perspective. It's Rashomon. It's, all that.
Okay, but just a pitch in. I've been on a trek through Haridwar, Rishikesh, and above. You are not allowed to eat meat while you're in the confines of Rishikesh. One of them in either Haridwar or Rishikesh.
Yes, Rishikesh is
there is no non-veg. You cannot.
Should I share the screen for the video? Yes. Let's have a look at the video.
Okay, and see if it offends us or not. And be honest. If it offends you, you must say so.
Yeah.
I'm already offended and I haven't seen it.
Can you see it?
So describe it for the audio listeners. Guy is just sitting there and eating tandoori chicken.
Guys.
And
some of the best looking men.
Guy.
Some of the best looking man India has ever produced. I mean, he's an Adonis, a god, beautifully dressed. And the question that boggles my mind is, why do Indians wear jeans? What do they think they should wear?
Yeah, it just looks like some Prayagraj dudes just chilling, like a selfie video, and people are waving. We could see a lot of boats, and there's some hookah and meat happening. That's precisely
that
what
looks
the video
delicious
is.
also. Like the tandoori chicken.
You're doing a barbecue on a boat.
Yeah, barbecue
it's
on
more
a
like
boat.
it's a Garibo Ka Seinfeld episode or something. There are 3-4 guys hanging out and there's nothing really happening.
Who's the George
like
there, Cyrus? There's no Elaine in the picture, clearly.
But it's UP, so they have to change the characters slightly. You can't have a woman, yaar.
Okay, we have to take a break.
Meat is not allowed.
Wait, let Kajol speak, guys. You chauvinist bastard.
Let Kajol complete, then we will take a break.
Every time she opens the mouth, one of us is jumping on her.
We listed like 9 topics. I had 3, Meghnad had 3, and Kajol had 3. And we've done exactly 0 so far.
Kajol will forget what she's trying to say.
One.
I have to protect her
I've
now.
already forgotten. No, it's okay. It's okay. Remember this when I'm hosting. No. You don't get
put it on us, Cyrus. She has a problem with one panelist on this show.
We finish this and they all attack Kajol. Okay, we don't want to change that. So for God's sake, let her speak.
No.
Kajol, I think,
let me speak when I'm hosting. Bolo, Abbas.
Yeah.
No, to maintain balance, I think you should announce the break so that.
All right. So guys, we're going into a break. We're going into a break.
What a favor. I don't know. Amit said he was beating the horse.
To buy merchandise, yes.
Is it more like flogging the horse in a slightly different context?
May I suggest
it sounds like
beating
animal
the
cruelty
buffalo.
when I heard it. Beating the buffalo. Okay. All right. Again, buffalo being a beautiful term, if anyone ever calls you or anybody else that, and in India, it's almost a holy animal. First cousin of the holy cow. The holy cow is literally the holy cow.
There's something on your right shoulder which wasn't there when we went.
Yeah. So I've embraced tech now. So I have this pink earring because I just want to do something for the LGBT movement. Also, I feel I've not done enough. And
how is this helping?
Is that your way to contribute?
I thought it's a step. Maybe the only step. Maybe they'll call and say no more steps. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
But you've actually clipped your ear. You've clipped your ear.
I clipped my ear, but look at Kajal's expression. She's on the. Should I attack him because he's making light, or should I let this go?
Kajol,
no, we're genuinely trying to figure out.
Any Shreyas's classical Carnatic vocals now. Where is he?
Yeah, Shreyas hasn't been on for quite a while, but it's okay.
Yeah.
He's doing other things.
Shreyas is living with me right now. He's here in Delhi.
In Delhi?
Yeah.
Wow. Again, he's pretending to be Garib. He forgets about the fact that he owns these restaurants from Canada to Kanyakumari, and he takes off to his cousin and with a bowl and says, "Mere ko khana."
No, he came for a shoot that we were doing here for a podcast, which will be out soon. So
yes,
which we are all very jealous
with
about.
all expenses paid to Delhi.
Yeah, Delhi. IVM paid for
And
his
beyond.
ticket to fly here.
Now let's discuss nepotism, Abbas ji. Cousin, बड़े भैया आ गया पोजीशन पे 2 मिनट के बाद तुरंत फौरन जल्दी 1 second की बात है. The cousin has now been cast in everything. The cousin is now flying first class to Delhi. The cousin is now the main host of 12 podcasts. Abbas, I want you to remember this. And they're both Hindus. They're both Hindus. And they're both Maharashtrian Hindus. What's going on with the country?
Of nepotism, but whenever someone comes to the IVM office, they look at Amit, then they look at me, they're like, "हाँ ये तो related ही होंगे." I'm like, no, we are not.
You are. You both are the only 2 liberals in the office. Have you met the others?
True. Yes. That's true. Cyrus, can I do one topic that I want to discuss? And then we'll let Kajol do one, and then we'll let
me sound like I'm a monster. Like I stopped anyone.
So Shantanu
I want to sit down and
Deshpande,
someone should do the matrix of how many people talk for how many minutes in this entire show.
The founder of Bombay Shaving Company, he wrote a LinkedIn post which went viral, where he said that in the early days of your career, if you're a 22-year-old who's just taken up his first or second job, you should...
Spurs, listen.
This is for you. He actually does this, what he says. He says you should put in 18-hour work days. You should not strive for work-life balance. You should not... This is what he has quoted. Nowadays, he sees a lot of young people watching random content on their devices. They should not do that. They should completely...
Those random content. Don't say this.
Really, which is why we want people to see it.
Look at random content. I mean, random.
So he got
some employee in Bombay Shaving Company was watching Cyrus while his CEO was standing piche, and he's like, "Ye aajkal ke bacche, I have to rant about this," and he goes on LinkedIn.
And Meghnad, Kajol was on that show. And on principle that she didn't get to talk enough, they've done this. So there's a very feminist twist to this,
There's no feminist. I like the way they were trolled, but somebody called them Bombay Slaving Company.
So when he faced slack for this, he said 18-hour day, like you mentioned. He said it was a figure of speech. What he meant was you should concentrate more on your work rather than... He said if you're young, your work-life balance is not required as of now. Once you get a little older, you can strive for it. But what I was trying to get at is LinkedIn is like a treasure trove of these kind of like, sort of declarations by some really senior people. Yeah, where
everybody becomes Stephen Jobs. My worry is you become Stephen Jobs with a very limited sense of success. That's a bit dangerous. You're 23, you made $300, and then you start sprouting.
I don't know if this is a genuine Steve Jobs quote or is it a Bill Gates quote, that I find the laziest person to do the job because he will do it the quickest. Because he wants to put in the least number of least amount.
I'm a fan. I'm an absolute fan. I really believe that.
I don't agree.
But that's my theory.
Rishi, remove her from the chat. Firstly, she won't build the Ram Mandir. I won't allow it on this show. You build the Ram Mandir or you leave.
She took the pamphlet.
Call your mother.
But that's my theory about Indians in general, that we are very lazy, and then हमने ये term बना दिया जुगाड़ innovation to just basically make our laziness sound good.
No, so here's the point. The correlation immediately is innovation and creation come to save you from the physical sort of abuse of yourself that you don't want to do, more than mental. It's more physical abuse that causes this, when you think of the way we think. Now, let me show you the difference. You are a Delhiite now, whatever your antecedents are, and Silvery is a Mumbaikar, whatever his antecedents are. And there's a difference in the Mumbaikar and the Delhiite. You want to work very hard. You want to do everything. And Silvery, well, we see him when we see him.
No, but Silvery does not represent all Mumbaiites. Mumbaiites work their asses off. They're always working.
That is, I mean, even in like water, they'll wade through the waters to get to office on time and stuff like that, right? Which is something now that people in Delhi and Bangalore are also facing because of
I was talking rubbish as usual. I have to say that 2 times: those who want to get the job done and those who don't. That's all there is to it.
Okay, so I was one of these people who worked 18 hours a day. Okay, I've done it for a long time.
You're a comedian.
No, I've got a graphic design company, so I work for corporates, and
you bastard. Excuse the French. You've got a graphic company and you're still a comedian.
Yeah, when someone has to finance my comedy.
Cyrus, full-time comedy does jack shit for you in India.
Exactly. It
Then
does.
I don't have to feel bad for you. You've got a thriving career.
I've got a thriving career. So my
Why
point
do
is
you
this.
feel bad for
I'm a
her?
podcast producer. It's not a thriving career. But
my
go
point
ahead.
is-
Tell us the story. 18 hours?
Okay.
Yeah.
I've worked 18 hours and there's a massive corporate account I work for. I've given them years of, working nights, delivering projects. During lockdown, my mom, she's a Parkinson patient. She fell and she fractured her shoulder and her arm. And that was the early days of COVID when my neighbor had died of COVID and they were, how they should just lock the entire building down and, all these guys in white suits outside.
Banners.
So, they told us not to get out of the house. I had no food. My mother was, just nursing a fracture. And there was this project on. So all I did was message them and say, I'm going to be a few hours delayed in submitting it because this is the reason. My mother has a fracture and my neighbors died of COVID and I cannot get out of the house. So the answer was, so shall we say 2 more hours then? And I was like,
wow.
Because
but you're asking for empathy.
So,
it sounds to the other person sometimes they're making excuses. So if they don't believe in where's the empathy?
the thing is, you
I
work
always
so many
believe
years.
people are lying
You
when
work
they make excuses.
Yeah, but that's if you don't know the person.
But Cyrus,
You
it's
work
a
for so
global
many years with
pandemic.
someone.
It's a
I know, but
lockdown.
it's
It's a pandemic. Everybody's suffering.
That's true, that's
Everybody
true.
won't be making an excuse, right?
But they take
If you
advantage.
worked with me for 10
Majburi is taken
years.
advantage of very easily,
If
right?
you
There's
worked
some and
with
then you
me
take
for 10
advantage.
years, if you worked with me for 10 years and you know that I don't just make excuses. So that's when I realized that you can put in all the work that you want, but at the end of it, it doesn't add up to anything. You don't get any leeway whatsoever. For
No,
being
you
You don't even get a gold watch
I
because you
agree.
don't actually work for them. So at 60, you can't even apply for the gold watch, which traditionally you would get. So sad, really.
Did
No,
that
but,
push you
Kajol-
to fire them as clients?
I fired that particular person as a client. I
And it was
lost
your
on a
main
voice
client.
note.
It was your main client.
No, I've worked with multiple people there, but
How much
that
money did we
particular
lose on this? Percentage-wise, what would it have been? Like 20% of your business?
I lost about 30K on that job. I don't know how much work I would have got from them otherwise.
30K,
but,
Kajol. For you, what is 30K?
sorry,
You make one controversial tweet and you get into about 60 lakhs straight away from
yes.
lovers of
60
society.
lakh tweets, maybe.
No, what Kajol said actually is true because in my early 20s also I worked like crazy. I mean, 18 hours a day, sure. 18 hours sounds a lot though. But
It's also your job position and description now, bro. You're at the bottom of the ladder. What do you expect? When you're at the bottom of the ladder, they kick you around, make you do the gopher work or the apprentice
But
work.
that's the
all
thing,
that.
right? Cyrus, when you say, what do you expect? Why not expect more? Just because you're at the bottom of the ladder doesn't mean you deserve to be
No,
pushed
but that's
around.
the way of the world, bro. In the
But the
capitalist
people at
society.
the
no, but it shouldn't be.
At the top also work.
That's another
People at the
point.
top also work.
Nandish, yeah.
When I was working with Filmfare, I was doing a project for them. The
Boo,
vice
name
presidents
drop.
and the
Boo.
high people, the vice presidents and all, whatever, the people at the top of the rung were still available to take calls at 3 a.m. in the morning. That's
And
how
then
they
call
work.
you over now if you're female.
No, Baba. And most of the women, they're mostly women who work there.
So here's the line that
call
got
me
me.
over.
Okay, Cyrus, in that LinkedIn post, he signs off by saying, "Don't do random Rona Dhona. Take it on the chin and be relentless. You will be way better for it." So this is another thing that if you bring these things up, it's called Rona Dhona. That you're whining, that you're complaining for small things because this generation has a thin
Okay,
skin.
Abbas, you want to be really open about this? We had this
Yeah.
conversation, you and me. Literally,
Yeah.
because you
Yes.
were struggling with the show in the morning because you're working nights, you're writing nights, you're performing nights, you're looking for work at night. You have to go and network at night, so you're
Yeah.
screwed. And then you had this.
Yes, which is why they
People who
put
call
me
you at 9
on
in
the
the morning.
Thursday 6 p.m. slot.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I remember me and then Amit and I discussed. I said, "What's the problem? You're young, just sleep less, just be a little, just."
I'm not
out
young
and keep going.
anymore, Cyrus. I'm 34.
No, but now you are doing that because you came back here. So now you're going to
Yeah.
bite the bullet, literally. Yeah, which started the.
But Cyrus, you also worked 18 hours a day in your
I have
young
never
age.
worked in my life. I must tell you, Meghnad. I'm against the concept. I feel it's a waste of everybody's time.
But I
including
don't
mine.
think Cyrus sleeps. I
Yeah, but I'm
can't
not much of a
imagine you
sleeper.
He goes
sleeping.
to
that's
sleep
never
at
a
8
problem.
o'clock, no?
But I sleep badly. I should have been a watchman. I really feel sometimes if we do go to war, I should be at the front. Not because I'm a coward, but I will hear the people coming and I will be able to warn you.
Oh, you're one
Yeah.
of those
So you have
people.
to give me a instrument which, now they'll have like electronic gadgets, but that I press this one button and the whole camp knows that we are being attacked. Of course, it may be a crow because I'm really a light sleeper. But you know what? It's a crow. we're all ready for action. Then we go back to sleep and we're angry with me, but the world is safe. So that's important. Yeah. How do we digress to my greatness?
Like
How dare you?
4:30.
Kajol, are you inviting me? What is this?
I'm not
There's only one way to find out, young lady.
You know when The Rock wakes
Mummy
up
se
at
pucho.
3:30 and posts his videos from the gym, Cyrus is the only one watching them because he's also awake at that time. Okay, moving on.
Can I tell you that between the two pandemics, I have a neighbor who's actually a very successful young man, young in his early 30s. And there was one day on a Saturday morning where I was going out at 4:45 with the dogs and he was coming in after drinking night with the boys. I was thinking how my world has changed. And we actually chatted for 5-10 minutes down. It was actually me starting, and him like just about standing straight and, having a cigarette and end of the day night thing. It's quite funny, right? Really, when I think about it. Meghnad, what time do you wake up?
I wake up at 5:30. 5:30 ke beech mein, yeah.
Why?
Patanjali products have to be applied by his partner.
So when I started doing my 18 hours work back in the day, when my MP used to pajao me everywhere, I was living in Sikkim. So my work day
used to pajao me is politically incorrect. Literally politically incorrect.
No, but I was. No, it's fine. He's not a MP anymore. He's gone out of politics also. So even if he watches this, which is very unlikely, he basically
so you really
used
helped
to
his
start
career.
his meetings at 7 in the morning, right? And then we would have to go around his constituency. Then I was also running a newspaper and a magazine. So then unka kaam raat ko hota tha. So like that office would start at 4 in the afternoon. So then I would be working till like 10, 11 in the night. Then I would sleep and then wake up again at 5. So
but King Louis the 16th or 15th, the Sun King, he was famous for taking the meetings on the pot, on that big giant pot, open commode. Yeah, he'd be on it, and you'd have to come and present your.
That's actually a very good. But that's a great utilization of time. I mean, you're doing nothing.
That guy. I think he wasn't much into bathing, from what I gather.
That's ridiculous. Okay, like 10 minute लगते हैं.
10 minute क्यों तू average क्यों करता है? तेरे को फ्रांस के बारे में, फ्रांस के कल्चर के बारे में क्या मालूम है? You just can't लगाओ like that. You racist bastard. You don't talk like this. It's going to cost you a visa. You be very careful.
King Louis took giant long dumps basically.
No, Baba, it's not about the dump. It's the fact that you have to sit there in this big room because the thing was in the open. It wasn't like a bathroom. It was in the open. And they would sit around and they would chat. And then Jacques would say, Milord, I got this proposal. I want to make this bread. And I got Indian contractor to build the bread so we can do it again. And, and this guy is taking it. And he'll be like, yeah, show it to me and whatever. I mean, it sounds ridiculously obscene, but it's not impractical, is what I'm saying.
So basically, they were all sitting on potties and having.
No. He's the king. He's having a little potty. You got some potty with the king. How dare you?
But someone's got to. I mean,
you talk like that.
Also, Cyrus, we're talking about a time before microphones and all of that. So whoever has a problem
like
has to come near him. Has to come near him and to tell him the problem, right? So, I mean,
you will not be near. Come on, this is a royal person. Okay, nobody.
You can't even make a face. What if the king gets offended?
You can't make a face. Yeah. If you're talking about smell and all that, you can't make a face. There's no way you can say.
Now that you mentioned
this is best way to keep meetings short. Well,
yeah.
No. In England, they actually had a position called groom of stool, and it was a person who got to wipe the king's ass.
Yeah. What if it's the queen? I might apply. The king guy. It's not my thing.
And then the king would write a LinkedIn post saying you should work for 18 hours.
Let me tell you one thing.
Why are you only showing up when I take a shit?
Abbas, the king wakes up. The most important person for him is young Raju. Because without young Raju, he can't start his day. He doesn't care where the queen is or the harem is or the son is or daughter. He doesn't care about that at all. He just needs little Raju. Apna Raju kahan hai? His first question in chaste English would be that. Apna Raju kahan hai? And then, Raju will go, Milad. Ready.
Are we going to AMAs now or should I get to a topic?
No, before, you can do a topic, Meghnad, and then we can go to AMAs.
I can do a topic. I think this is one topic that Cyrus would like. So, Cyrus, did you see that video of Nitish Kumar and KCR meeting? So, KCR went to meet Nitish Kumar in Bihar and they're now trying to form another Gathbandhan.
It's it could be a stronger alliance in the long run for those against the center than the few that we have put up in the past, to be honest.
But the awkward moment happened exactly what the reason people were saying the last Gathbandhan failed. So some reporter asked, once you come together, who will be the prime minister? right? And he asked KCR whether you will support him as Prime Minister. So उसमें भी उसने आग लगाई दी.
We can answer this
Nitish Kumar got up and left. Tried to leave. Then
He's been doing that a lot.
He tried to leave.
That's his thing. Modus operandi now.
So we'll put up the video on screen. You can talk through it, Meghnad.
Okay.
Yeah, just set it up. Just set it up till we put it up.
Culture, it would have been which one of them gets the pot, in a sense, right?
Which one of them gets the pot? Oh,
sit on the pot, right? Because only the king gets that. I mean, you can't have 10 people like we discussed with Kajol.
Right. It can
point.
either be Nitish on the pot or KCR on the pot.
Why? No, we don't need to illustrate points.
Okay.
अब इसके चक्कर में मत अरे ये सब छोड़ कर आप बैठिए ना सर सब के बारे में कह रहे हैं कि सबको हम लोग यूनाइट करने की कोशिश करेंगे
बैठिए ना सर बैठिए
अरे ये कह रहे हैं कि सबको अपोजिशन को यूनाइट करने की कोशिश हम लोग करेंगे तो हम लोगों की राय है बात है सबको मिलके करेंगे इसलिए अभी क्या पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या होगा
So the thing is, it's funny, because so KCR is also like trying to project himself as a prime minister.
KCR is a South Indian. He's trying to inculcate manners into the North Indian. First बैठ जाओ, फिर हम लोग बातचीत करते हैं. It's just a simple process, bro.
My favorite thing is the poor guards behind. They don't know whether to escort them out or to just hang behind.
You're talking about 18-hour days. Look at that job. Okay, the most mindless, boring. You stand there and listen to these guys talk 24 hours.
And one of them is holding this pink towel. I don't know why.
Oh my God. Are you suggesting because of the King Louis story that we are... Let's not pull that further, bro, guys. Let's just, flush
this
that
had
down
massive living room guests don't know whether to leave or to stay back wala energy where
exactly.
the guest wants to sit but the host wants to say
did you see something? Did you see Abbas, did you see the sparkle in Nitish's eyes? He was really happy, like he has got this coup, in the back of his mind. He's planning, Machiavellian politics. And he was like, happy sort of vibe about him. Like, my God, there's so much vindictiveness also.
Kind of sad though. This is the state of the opposition. I mean, I don't know. They can't agree upon sitting or standing.
It's fair. If you want to fight a gigantic force, you've got to figure it out, man. You can't just be a petty politician. So I mean,
the weird thing is, and interesting thing now in Indian politics is that you can't just contest as a party anymore because there is this very strong prime ministerial figure. So we never vote for the prime minister, right? We don't have direct elections of the prime minister or president. We always choose a party which comes to majority, and they from within themselves choose a prime minister, and then the prime minister chooses the cabinet. That is the process. So
and everything else, although it's not supposed to be.
But that is how things have changed now, where everybody is asking ki, aapka prime minister candidate kaun hoga, right? So technically, it doesn't happen in our democracy. So they can act. If you look at it, if everybody actually knew that this is how it works, they can actually get away with this. But reporters are constantly asking, Prime Minister kaun hoga? Prime Minister kaun hoga? Who versus Modi? Who versus Modi? Who versus Modi?
In the spirit of transparency, if you're going to have a coalition, Gathbandhan or whatever you want to call it, of whoever from wherever, you've got to put your cards on the table, na? This whole thing of baad mein decide karte hain hum log, jeetne ke baad decide karte. That's all.
But that's how it has always been so far.
Look at Maharashtra politics. I mean, it has to be open and transparent, otherwise because that's the bone of contention that breaks everything in any case at the end of the day.
But Cyrus, in the case of a coalition, like you are fighting so many seats, right? So smaller party, bigger party, some are fighting like all seats, some are fighting like smaller seats.
Yes.
So the number of seats will also determine how much you will have in the equation afterwards.
Okay, but that's like a PowerPoint. But I'm saying that the MOU between, say, your party, my party, Abbas and Kajol's party, we come together to fight, say, the center. 4 parties. We've got an understanding, not just about who. There has to be a minimum guarantee of ministerial berths and who the prime minister is going to be. It's got to be clear. It's like a will when people die, right?
But if they win, they win. If they win the seat.
If they win
That is also a
together
question.
collectively, because you can't guarantee how many seats you'll get. What you're saying is it'll depend on the fact that if I give you 20 seats and I have so much, but that's the truth, because you'll have that bargaining power because of that. But you have to have a little modus operandi before telling us exactly what's going to happen, and then you work through it depending on how well you've done. But I think you, by and large, you should know.
That is
like,
one way to go about it.
If Uddhav was promised the chief ministership, then he was promised the chief ministership, and it looks very unlikely he wasn't promised the chief ministership. There's no doubt about that. What do you think? Right? In that alliance, why would he make that up? It doesn't make sense.
I mean, sure. I mean, I get your point that, like practically speaking, this might be the correct way to go. But like theoretically, the way our democracy is structured according to the constitution, I feel like questions of who will be the prime minister and cabinet minister should come later, after the parties in power and the seats have been won.
Cyrus, then you lose out on beauties like Devegowda and I.K. Gujral becoming the prime minister, right? Because nobody would vote HD Devegowda as the prime minister. But Mr.
See, cabinet to some extent, I understand you have to wait. You have to see who's on what position, where you stand, etc. But the PM, they definitely should have the decision beforehand, regardless of how many points they score. We've got to figure that out, who the collective leader is. You're fighting, as he says, that party against you is all about one leader. You're not even telling us who your leader is. Who am I voting for?
Sure.
I don't even know the names of these people then. How are you going to hit urban India, the 3 or 4 different Indias according to Veer Das that we have, plus the NRIs and Canada? So, how are you going to hit all that? It's not possible.
I just want to say, Cyrus, if we all won the election in coalition, we'll make you the prime ministerial candidate.
No, I'm going to be there. I was dying to add that. No,
there you go. Kajol is the Nitish of this group. Okay, we have to go to the AMS. Cyrus, should we go to the AMS?
Yeah, I'm just saying good night to my son who actually sent me a good night, which is very rare. In Canada, it's good night time. If you guys want to know, I will tell you what the time.
I mean, as someone who's probably the only one alive who was alive when the Soviet Union
It's not
was
good
around.
Night time. Why is he saying good night?
Yeah, why is he saying
I'm getting scared.
He just
came back.
It's
Saying good night at 9:35
time, Cyrus.
Cyrus, he just came back
No, it's
from
a bit early for me. I think I should call him. I'm a little worried. It's 9:30 in the morning in Toronto on a Thursday.
Are you sure the text was for you?
That was for you, Cyrus. Like he's wishing you good night.
You can call him.
My good night is about 2.5 hours away. You know that. I celebrate the good night at the right time.
Like 7 बजे good night बोल दिया उसने.
Okay, doesn't matter. Maybe he was texting somebody else.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe someone in Japan or something.
Maybe someone else in another time.
Let's call her Yuki. He's got a girlfriend. Her name is Yuki. He's texting her. All good. Sayonara. Good night. Where's my accent expert? Okay, he's left. We apologize to all foreign nationals. Ours is not a racist tirade against anyone. It's just bad performances by poor actors. That's it.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
Okay, AMA time. Question number 1 comes from Kumar Sanu. Kumar Sanu says, AMA for Cyrus Brocha. How are you the way you are?
Come on, let me explain genetics. There's a Y chromosome and an X chromosome, and they battle it out, and then there's 2 of 1 and 1 of 2 and things like that. And to cut a long story short, I can't. How do I explain this question? I can apologize for who I am, and I should, probably with a disclaimer. But beyond that, the other thing I used to get a lot early days was, are your parents funny? Are you funny at home? Are you always funny? And finally, are you funny during sex? Well, they do laugh during sex, but it's not. It's more like a, not out of respect of any kind, I suppose. Kajol is still laughing. She's just thinking of the visual. Some woman getting up.
I've never met a guy who was funny during sex. Okay, I'm sorry. That does not happen.
You've never had a funny person? Oh, okay, you're very intense.
I think the act itself becomes funny after a point.
Oh, God, I find it very funny.
That's just you. Please don't generalize, Abbas.
No.
That's you.
Okay, let's go to the next question. This one
I would like to talk more about this topic, but my 15-year-old daughter has now decided to enter the room on the one time we're discussing coitus. Which, by the way, is what her teacher uses in class to use when they talk about the subject. Right, Maya?
This question comes from Saurabh.
Saurabh says, answer you with eyebrows.
Hi, Cyrus. Kunal has said Vada Pav has devalued the value of Vada, and he said misal is diluted version of usal. What are your thoughts?
Well, ever since he got pancreatitis, it's all about vegetarian food for him. So he's left now submerged in this world. He's trying to make the most of it. While I can order anything I like. Ashtray. Now, Vada Pav, yes. Now, I know that Meghnad has some, I don't know what he is now because he's a North Indian boy from Nagpur. So it's all over the place. But there's some Vada Pav in the genes somewhere, somehow, and he may have an emotional bond to it. I believe it's an overrated concept because the bread kills the taste. Back in Xavier's, when I used to have it, I made the two version where you put the sandwich inside and you put the two vadas on top and below. So the reverse burger. It was much tastier. And plus the mirchi stayed on your tongue, which I like a lot as well. Yeah.
That does sound nicer.
I don't like the bread that much. I don't like bread as a concept except for the burger, Paratha, yes. Roti, of course. Naan, 100%. Rumali for sure, but not, and, all those.
Keema pao, nahi?
The bread doesn't do it for me, really. I mean, we eat it because we grew up and that's what they gave us. But
and the vada is actually called aloo bonda, no? Like if it's like given separately, it's aloo bonda.
No, that's Delhi.
Yeah. In Karnataka, yes.
That's Maharashtra only.
No.
If it was aloo bonda, it would be a Parsi lady. Just by the way.
Hey, if I make a mistake in this, don't tweet to me saying I should stop coming on podcasts.
Okay? Leave the South alone. Abbas, once we tell them where you're really from.
I love South India.
But you're from UP, so let's remember that. Be very careful. We saw the boat.
True.
You're one of those guys on the boat. Okay. Your boat reached Mumbai, so you're okay now. Yeah.
Okay, the next question
Bonda
comes from
Karnataka.
There you go. Vindicated. Yes.
Yeah.
Anupam Lodi says AMA for the entire panel. What do you add first, milk or cereal?
I need cereal because of the glucose issue. No, I would always add milk when I had it, or if I have a diabetic cereal, I would have put the milk first, then I would put the non-sugar.
Why
I don't know. I always put milk first. In the protein, I put the milk first, and then I put the protein powder.
But then you can't estimate how much cereal and
so I want to make sure I have more milk than cereal when I have it. Always. There
are these weird people who like soupy cereal, which I don't get.
Yeah. You could.
I don't have milk, so I mean that's.
So what do you have?
I have dahi. So
cereal and dahi.
Yeah. That's like gay cereal. Sorry, I apologize for that.
You haven't had this.
Dahi.
No.
Dahi and cornflakes.
No, not cornflakes. No.
No. One second. Hey, guys, stop.
Muesli. Okay.
When you go to your next 5-star hotel brunch, you must have yogurt and cereal. That's fantastic. Ooh, yummy.
What cereal? Like cornflakes and yogurt.
I mean, you put any cereal you want. You add the yogurt with it, and the yogurt being semi-fluid, obviously it's semi-ish. It is liquid.
That's what I was saying.
Semi-solid.
Dahi is from the same
yogurt,
family,
right?
It's from the
Yeah.
The taste is
dahi is yogurt.
Bland taste.
Yeah, even I was under the impression dahi is yogurt. Is it not?
It is yogurt, but yogurt is like, okay, yogurt is sophisticated dahi. Okay, now let's not get into it because I don't know how to explain it to you. Yogurt
is it dahi vada or yogurt vada?
In South Bombay circles, it's yogurt vada.
Yogurt vada.
Or is it yogurt bonda?
The dahi we have at home, I wouldn't mix that. It wouldn't work for me. I want the yogurt.
But Cyrus, you're the only one saying
Angrezi sounding yogurt. I want that. No, you guys have to taste it and then knock it. Don't be racist.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, Cyrus. I also have like dahi and yogurt separately. I mean, like in the fridge right now. So I know what you want.
What is yogurt?
Exactly.
What is yogurt?
So why don't you, if it's so bloody close, why don't you have it together? That's a very good point. Well done, my Louis the 16th. Well done.
Meghnad, what is dahi and yogurt separately?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you. Right, so dahi is the classical curd. The classical dahi, which is the curd you have, right, which is more watery, but the yogurt is more thick and creamy. So
how do you make
thick and creamy? So I don't know.
Okay, this is very sexual. Can you stop talking to each other? Guys, it's just simple. It's treated a little differently.
Yogurt
and the
is
texture,
broccoli
is
of
different.
gobi. What?
Look, it's different. Okay, the taste
yogurt is just dahi that went to English medium school.
That's not fair.
Okay.
I want you to do an experiment when you have time on the weekend. You get dahi, buy yogurt which comes in a thing with a brand and whatever.
Like dahi or whatever.
It's just cheaper than what we make at home. But it's dahi. Yogurt and dahi are the same.
I don't care. Just eat it separate together. Put it in two things and you eat it one, like a Pepsi Coke taste. So just tell me after. Come back and talk to us about
it. Kajol, I have another idea, right? To taste it and to actually understand the difference, look up this recipe for Turkish eggs on
I have made
YouTube.
Turkish eggs.
Right.
Okay, because
So
I'm
you need
one of the people in this
specific
panel who
kind
can
of-
cook.
Yes, thank you.
Wow.
And it's amazing. But
Okay, so what you're
Cookism.
talking about, is Greek yogurt.
Greek
When you
yogurt,
hang
Greek
dahi, when you hang dahi in a muslin cloth, you get Greek yogurt.
Yes,
It's not
yes.
some fabulous thing which you all are inventing yourselves.
no,
It is
we
just
aren't.
Wait, Hamisha
It's not
has another
inventing,
point
guys.
of view.
I'm talking like a primate, like a primitive man. All I'm saying is purely on taste. Okay, be color blind and texture blind. Just taste it and see the difference. They are cousins.
Hamisha Himesha
but they're
says
not
it's
the same. That's all
linguistic.
I'm
She
saying.
says curd is British English, yogurt is American English.
Which is true.
Himisha, I used to be your friend. I feel ashamed. Is dahi sexist?
Is dahi sexist because you have to say he to pronounce his... Okay, moving on.
Darshan is back.
We'll
Darshan
take
is
two
back.
more
COVID. It
questions.
was a long bout. He's back. Good to know he's fine. Right? Arts of Seduction by Seema Anand. Go to him as a special prize.
You still have that book next to your
I have
table.
all the
Good
books,
to know.
mostly unread, from all the people who have appeared on the show. And my wife is going berserk. Okay? She's going to throw me and the books out one day.
Okay. This one comes from Girish Patil. How are you feeling about Gorbachev's demise, especially Cyrus, since he's a big fan? I've seen a lot of extreme left almost celebrating the death, since in their eyes, he was an American stooge.
I think it was very unfair. He had the guts at the end of the day to allow the world to change from the bipolar world that it was. It was. I named my son after him, no question. Because in the middle of my Xavier's College political science major, we had one subject out of 6 was USSR. It was this big, the book. Reading all about it. And in the middle, there's no USSR. The teachers say we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. So the whole thing was erstwhile USSR. We had to answer every question beginning with erstwhile USSR. And that just put it all in perspective for us. But I'm a big fan. I think he'll be remembered with passing of time even better and better as a statesman. Again, not liked so much in Russia as he is abroad, not so much with the left-leaning, far-leaning left as he is with maybe some people closer to the center. But there's no doubt.
Was he an American stooge though?
That's not fair. Yeah, Meghnad, you just simplify things and say things like that and we're supposed to say yes. It's not like that. I mean, whatever you say about Reagan, the cowboy, and Gorbachev, the Russian, at the end of the day, these two men changed the world. You got to accept that.
They did. Of course they did. Yeah. I mean, impact-wise, sure.
After Lenin and McCartney, the two most important people of the 21st century.
Who, Gorbachev and Reagan?
Reagan. Pay attention to the podcast.
Okay.
I would say Gandhi was also one of them.
Not up to the level of Lennon and McCartney in Cyrus's eyes.
Yeah, I mean, like
more of a Ringo.
Gandhi was
if you can
one
write
of
a
them.
song with the harmony that If I Fell gives you, I'll stand and salute you too. If I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true? Kajol, take it away.
Can you do one last question?
Because I've been in love before, and I found that love was more than just holding hands.
That's nice.
You guys just terrible. Where's the talent gone in India? You sit on pots and hold pots. I mean, what's going on here?
Well done. That was great. That was a great.
I'll sit on your lap tomorrow and sing it properly. Are we done? It's 7:10.
I want to take one last question. Rishi is trying to signal something to me. I can't figure it out. Okay, he's put something on.
Good night time.
I am 3 months older. 3 months older.
Are you older than Bangladesh?
But I've done this a lot. I've done this in shows that nobody watches. That literally 71. It's also the year Morrison died, and Janis Joplin, and Jimi Hendrix. 3 J's. Yeah, 71.
Jimi Hendrix died. Oh.
Yeah, all three. The 3 J's they call it. They all died in 71. Bangladesh was born, not a J, though in some languages it's J Bangladesh, so Bangladesh, so maybe. And and the birth of a legendary, waste of time person. Me.
Sahil Kafri has also asked Kajol and Abbas, why don't you call Cyrus on an episode of Thirst Trap? Kajol, would you like to tell him why?
Yeah, because we had a version of Thirst Trap on a new app, and everyone did not turn on their mics or their cameras. So we are not holding any more thirst traps for you fuckers.
Also, we do it at midnight, and Cyrus goes to sleep at 9.
First, I have to figure out what my son's doing. Saying good night at 9:30
Cool,
a.m. on a working day. We're paying through our nose for him to be in Canada. What's going on there? I'm just worried. I just saw the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Shantanu Hazarika's interview episode. Do tune in for that one
great.
at 10 a.m. He was great.
What I liked about him is he also spoke to Akash and Naveen, and the way he bitched them out, I was so impressed. Those loafers, those oafs, and we really hit it off, really.
Yep. Do buy the merch. Go to ivm.today.com. There's a shop tab. Once you click there, you'll be redirected to the
Shruti
merch
Hassan,
page.
by the way.
Yes, Shantanu Hazarika is dating Shruti Hassan, and he's told us that he'll ask her also to come on the show. Let's see how accurate he is about that.
She's already said no.
Oh, he messaged you, did he?
She's heard a podcast. She's a big
Abbas.
Kajol fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abbas, wo wale podcast mein, please. Shruti Hassan.
Sure. Yeah, we'll
Being
figure something
Indians,
out.
being Indians, it won't be long before Sarika.
Yes, right under your nose, Cyrus.
No, but the Indian way is Sarika and Kamala Hassan, everybody has to come on the show, because that's the way we work, right?
We'll do that.
I mean, before you know, the entire South industry we brought in one by one,
Yeah.
Look at us. Yeah.
But can I be on those episodes? Because I've been asked not to be on podcasts.
No, when the Kannada film stars come, you cannot come on the because I don't want any violence. So we can't have you on it.
One troll comment and you're crying all through the podcast.
I'm not crying. I'm
Dhona.
just complaining.
Look at this veteran of trolling sitting right here. Like she's like last week veteran ban gayi hai wo.
Kajol, you want to plug any shows before we wrap up?
No, it's very boring.
I do.
It's Ganpati. Nothing is on.
Go ahead, Meghnad.
Yeah, ek to Ganpati Bappa Moria. Guys, Ganpati Bappa Moria.
Pudcha Varsha Lokar ya.
Yeah, Pudcha Varsha.
And guys, not that I'm against festivals, but can you stop the bombs? Okay, they scare the dogs, they scare me, they scare old people. Stop with the bombs.
It's
There's
true.
no correlation to festive activity. And if you're going to, at least shoot somebody if you're going to make a sound like that. You know, I mean, for God's sake, it's pointless otherwise, really.
Tune into ELI 10 for tomorrow's episode. We have
too many instructions. What do you think these guys are? They got nothing to do? You can't give them 20 instructions.
They're watching this show. Clearly, they have nothing to do.
Before this,
and then you're sounding like Country Classroom. Suniye, beta. What the hell?
No, before this, I said Ganpati Bappa Moria. Then you had an entire thing on that.
So once you make a religious, look at you, right winger, one religious rant and you can say anything after that. What the hell?
That's how it works in 2022, Cyrus.
We're learning.
अच्छा मुझे plug करने दो please. Plug करने दो. Look at Kajol's face while I do this. ELI 10. New episode dropping tomorrow. We have a very special guest, Sakshi Joshi, who is a super independent journalist, and she talks about certain things. And you don't
have to say super independent. In India, if she's a journalist, an actual one, I mean, that's good. I mean, that's huge. You know, honestly, that's it. That's the line. Yeah.
No, I've explained why she's also a super independent journalist, but for that you'll have to watch a podcast. And also, our friend Silvery is on it as well with her.
What is he doing with a journalist? He had to drop
it's the format, Cyrus. We get an expert and we get someone.
He gets an expert and he gets a moron.
Build journalism after the episode.
Let me release Abbas for 1 second. Abbas, do a Silvery in this new podcast for 1 second as we say bye.
What's the guest's name, Meghnad?
Sakshi Joshi.
So, Sakshi, the other day I was driving down and I couldn't find parking here. And from Powai, you travel all the way to Bandra and there's no parking.
Yes. Spot on. Superb. Chalo. Great,
anyway,
bye guys.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In, or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.